Hi guys. When we had class last, I showed you how to download assets, and I probably recorded it, but I wanted to get it on record here for this video that will be stored in YouTube. So you can see I already have a couple of asset packages I downloaded, but just to review how to get asset packages for putting stuff into your scenes. Under the window menu is the asset store. It always loads in this tab. I don't find that big enough to work with, so I usually pull it out so it can be floating. And once it's floating, I make it bigger so I can see what I'm looking at much better. Okay, so we're going for 3D. I find it also super helpful to say we want free. And for this particular assignment we're doing right now, environment is a good search word. I actually already have this gym uploaded into that, and I also have this cube environment uploaded into that. I think I might get the Minecraft one kind of into it. So when I go to quick look, it gives me three views of what we're going to get. And you can see it'll take a little bit to build like you would in Minecraft, but it's pretty light. So I'll download it so we can get this done quickly. After it downloads, you click import. And then after you click import, it always shows you everything because you can choose to not select certain things. But I'm going to import everything. And that went nice and quickly because it was a small size. Well, it's still going, but it should be done quickly. And if I wanted to look for more, whoops, I could have gone back and looked for more, but I actually now have 3 different asset packages. The Surian is the one I just brought in. Cube environment is the one now showing in my assets panel, and the gym environment I have access to also. So they each, all assets packages will have their pluses and minuses, but any way you slice it, when you're doing it, you're really looking for asset packages for now that have good prefabs. So you can see that the cube environment has a lot of good prefabs, and you'd be able to build a little scene with what's here. If you decide to use roads, they obviously come in looking huge, so you have to zoom out. It's a good idea for the heart of your scene to be set at 0, 0, 0. So that's where the inspector really comes in handy. Now, if nothing is selected, the inspector is empty. Once you select something, the inspector's there. It shows you position and rotation. So if I'd actually rather have the road go right to left, I could click 90 degrees and then it tilts it to the left. And you know, so I could bring in another road, but it's also possible to copy paste. So I mentioned in the last video, when you put something in, let me get this at 0, 0, 0, 2. When you put something in, and I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees, and I'm going to rotate a little bit so I can drag that there. When you put something in, it shows up in your hierarchy. So everything that's in your scene is in your hierarchy. This project area down here is for anything you can use for your hierarchy. So once it's here, it's in your hierarchy. You can see that it looks like expandable, and that's basically because since it's a free prefab, it's been built of a couple things, namely a 3D structure and then a pattern on top. So what I was saying a moment ago is if you want more of a road, you can drag this in from scratch, and then I'd have to rotate it again. But you also can just have the road selected and do Control D for duplicate. And it'll just call itself by the same name. And it looks like it didn't come in, but what happens is it comes in directly on it, which is super handy because then it's easy to stay in line. Now, you might have to zoom in a little bit so you can tell if they're matching each other. And even if they overlap, since they're so identical, you don't even notice. So then if I wanted to make the road longer, I would highlight road 2, click duplicate, pull this out again, keep some overlap, which I don't think I have. So I'm going to pull that closer again. I'm going to make one more. Control D for duplicate. It does it exactly on top of the other one, so you can pull this up, keep them overlapped. One thing I'm doing in my screen, and I can't remember what I've told you before, is I'm panning. You can see that's the panning tool. If you're using a mouse, which I highly recommend using a mouse, you can hold down the middle scroll wheel, and when you drag the middle scroll wheel or the middle mouse button, same thing, it allows you to pan. If you hold shift and the middle mouse, if you hold shift and the right mouse button, it orbits. So if you need to have a look at it from a different perspective, you should orbit. And then scrolling the mouse wheel just goes in and out. So that's a scene so far. I have one of the roads blocked off. I could put in street lights. It's a little disappointing they don't have a road that goes to the side. What else could I use in here? I could put a patch of grass. Woo! So again, it'll come in huge depending on how your zoom is. Setting it to 0, 0, 0 will get it a little bit away from you, and then you can push it from here. So I think I'm going to put it right against the road, and I'm going to duplicate this one too. Okay, I think this one needs to move a little, which might mean I need to move them all a little. No, that looks pretty well patched. So you can see I have a bit of a scene here. Now, if we look at the main camera, I probably want to address this today, but the main camera is not showing us any of this. So one of the things we'll be working on is getting cameras in and adjusting them so they can see our scene. I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're going to look at some of the other assets I brought in. So I'm actually going to highlight all of this and just push the blue arrow. Whoops, I didn't get it all. So I'm going to undo, deselect, and I'm actually going to, I want that main camera to be up here. Okay, I'm going to select all these by clicking the first one, holding down shift and clicking the last one. So if you click the first thing in a list and then shift and click the last thing in a list, it selects them all. I'm going to push the blue arrow so they stay on the floor. They'll just be much further back. So let's have a look and see what the gym offers us. So again, we're just going to go straight to the prefabs. It has a main building. It's going to be huge again. Let's see what happens if I bring it to 0, 0, 0. And it actually looks smaller right now at 0, 0, 0. So it's probably a smaller asset build. I actually am going to rotate this one as well. And you can see it's a pre-made building. So when we zoom and orbit here, you could have cameras that stay completely within this room. Because it even has a, I don't know if you can see it yet, but it even has a ceiling. So once we're in the room, if we were to look up, you would see a ceiling. Let's see how that compares if I can put the actual ring in it. So I'm going to take this ring. I lost it. Oops. I hit escape. Yeah, I didn't get the ring in yet. What did I do to my main building? Let me try undoing. Okay, I guess I lost it. It could be, I haven't seen this before. Oh, there it is. Oh, I know what it is. Down here, it's baking. And that will happen as you're working, depending on what settings you have clicked. So right now what baking is it's generating the lights that are built into both the light over here, and assets themselves can have light features within them. And if it's on a certain setting, it's going to want to bake with every change, which you can see makes it a little bit annoying to work on. I'm actually going to turn off auto baking, which could make the scene look poor temporarily. But if we go to window, rendering and light settings, and deselect auto generate, then it's not going to bake on us and suspend our work, but you're going to have stuff that looks funny. I'm gonna keep it looking funny for now, and I'm even gonna keep it rotated in that degree and see what happens when I try to put this ring in. So again, let me see the size difference if I center this one. There, so it does fit in the building. And then there's other things I could put in the building as well. I'm gonna pull that aside. And let's just see what we get out of the one that kind of looks like Minecraft. So this one is completely cubed. So if I want to make a ground, I can put this in. I'm going to put this at 10, 0, 0. Actually, I think I have to do this at -10. Now, here's the deal. I can't see that, but here's a nice trick. If your mouse is here and your asset is highlighted, or your object is highlighted, and you hit the F key, it focuses it on that. So I accidentally put the block inside the gym, which I didn't mean to, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You can see it's so much smaller. Okay, so let's have this at -150. Okay, and if I hit F again, whoops, hit F before I hit enter. If I hit F again, it zooms in on that piece. So if I want to make a scene that is built on these cubes, the best way to do that is to just duplicate and start moving just the one arrow. And this first one, whoops, this first cube, oh, I'm not overlapping any of them, are I? Am I? Okay, the other thing you can do is you can select all three. So once you get a few of them in, you can duplicate 3 at a time. So if I do that and push back, now I have 6. Now I can highlight them all again and duplicate again and push it out here. So you can see, even though it feels like it would take long to build an environment with cubes, once you know that you can sort of select more than one and duplicate, it goes a little bit faster. I'm going to stop here. That's sort of what I expected from your first assignment, was for you to just play with those elements. In the second assignment, we're going to actually set up a scene. So hopefully the first assignment gave you a taste of some of the options you have before building an actual scene. So I'm going to stop this one here and get it uploaded. See you in the next one.